Tara.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, guys.
Got a couple new faces. Hi, Heidi. Oh, you're muted,
Hi,
my
Chris.
dear. Hey.
There I am.
Morning.
How are things on Oahu?
Morning.
Speechless?
I think maybe I should take my walk today too. Or to have actually What's in the Jiffy?
Now we can.
Boom. All right. Let's get this party started. Why is this messing up? Come on. I accidentally pushed the wrong button. Eek. All right. Already starting off hot this morning, man. Hot and heavy. Clicking off, turning things off. What's up, Ross Rawson?
Man, what's happening? How's everybody doing today?
Look at that. Man, we needed that energy. You had coffee yet this morning? I think you need more coffee, brother.
Bro, I'm telling you, that does not need to happen. That new pumpkin spice cold brew at Starbucks, though. Who else has had it? Show your hands. Pretty good.
I saw the sign the other day walking in, but I'm like, okay, here we go. It's the seasons already.
Dude, I'm a sucker for it, especially being in the fall in Michigan, man. We got to have some pumpkin spice something.
I am not mad at that, man. I love pumpkin. It's actually my only pie I will eat in the entire world. I don't like any other pie but pumpkin pie.
Same.
Like, yeah, I knew we were another brother from another mother, too. I love it.
Hey.
Hey. All right.
Cameron's on his way out, but new agent to the team, Mr. Cameron. He just won. So he has an appointment he's got to be to, but I figured I'd introduce him real quick.
All right. Awesome. What's up, Jennifer McClellan? I always got to say hi to you. There's the wave. All right. Hi, Kendra. Hi, Jill. Hey, Bo. What's up, brother? Are you still keeping up with some of your habits from the 75 hard?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Good work. I'm gonna finish my basement at night now with those hours.
Okay. I like it. Good job. What's up, Johnny Royal? How are you, sir?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Doing well. Hope you are.
I'm well. Doing great. Thank you, sir. Benina, how are you? Looks like we have a couple of new people here. Is it Risen or Ryzen? I'm sorry.
Risen's here with me in Kona. She's
Okay.
One of my friends from the Army Reserve sister. She's 18, working on getting her real estate license, and is interning with us here, and smarter than all of us trying to pursue this at 18. So,
Dude, heck yeah. I wish I started when I was 18. I was doing some other dumb stuff at 18. Good God. Good for you, Risen. And what a cool name. I love it, man. Like, that's awesome. That means every day you're going to be raising to the top. All right. Awesome. We got somebody else that was new here. I saw a new face. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's just me. Is that Brandy? Oh, Sheila. Is that Sheila? Is Sheila with you too, Dylan? Hi, Sheila. Oh, you're muted there.
Hi.
Hello. Are you on the island, or where are you located?
I'm in Arkansas.
Oh, okay. All right. Awesome. And you are part of, and I apologize. I can't remember what I had breakfast this morning. I just woke up too. So, who are you? Are you coming in with somebody in the team here, or you're new to the first time I think seeing that you here?
Yeah, I was invited by Paige Royal.
Nice.
To just sit in here, and yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, welcome. We always love newcomers. So welcome to the group. Hope you appreciate it. Anything we do say here, don't hold it against us, please. Something wrong. It's Johnny Royal's fault. All right.
Yeah.
Tell me something good. Come on. Something good. What's happening in your neck of the woods? Somebody's got some good stuff. I can see it in these faces. We got a lot of cameras on. Everybody's excited. What is exciting for you that's changed your life this week or yesterday or this morning?
I
Don't be
got
shy.
something, Chris.
Do it, Tara. Go.
Okay, so last week Tuesday and Thursday, I had home buyer workshops, and today I'm gonna go show 6 homes to 2 of the people that went and got pre-qualified over the weekend, and super pumped and excited about it because I took like a whole half the summer off, and I'm getting back into the groove. But it's so exciting to see people take massive action. You know, they came on Thursday, and here we are on a Tuesday. We're going to go look at property, and we got their call letter, and we're just rocking it. So super grateful for that.
Dude, amazing. What a great story. Congratulations. I mean, that's inspiring. And yes, it's like you doing these workshops. Is that the same one that Justice is doing? What you guys do them together, like tag teaming them, or is that something you're doing here separately?
We do them separately, but it's the same thing that we're doing, and it's super effective. Like, I like it. I like it because people walk out of there so inspired and empowered. And then the ones that take action, we're getting them, into homes. So super awesome.
So every method works. It's the one that you do. So congratulations. Good job on that, Tara. And already making stuff happen. So proof of pudding right there. Love it. Good job. Awesome. All right. Who else got some good news?
Hey, I'll share. So I had a super awesome weekend. Went over to Oahu, spent some time with Chris and planning the takeover of Oahu. So we got some awesome people over there starting to build the team. But something that I've never been I consume a ton of content, right? Books and stuff like that. And I haven't listened to a book in a long time that excited me as much as 10X is easier than 2X. So write that down. It's Dan Sullivan. It's there's so much in it. I'm only halfway through, but it's it screws up my life because instead of listening to it, I have to stop and take notes and really pay attention to what's going on. And the basic premise is that who wants to double their business, right? Everyone wants to double their business. But the premise is that it's actually harder to double your business than it is to go 10X on your business. And that's something that a lot of times holds us back in life, is that if you want to double your business, there's probably 25 things you could do, right? You could go out there and you could pick from a whole variety of things, and you'll probably dabble in 15 of them and not focus on any of them. And then you never get to actually doubling your business. But if you really focus on what is it going to take to 10X my business, there's probably only 1 or 2 things you can do. And it provides a lot of clarity in terms of what your priority should be, because we're always out there squirrels chasing stuff and not focused on what we should be doing. And if you really think about what is it going to take to 10X my business, that's is going to just give you laser focus on what you got to do. And a big part of that is the who, not the how. And that's another thing I see everybody get caught up on, is they want to know every single step, every single process, every single problem that could potentially arise, instead of just finding the right people and then figuring it out along the way. And that's something that has, I've looked back on our journey, and it's always been the who, not the how. It's just for whatever reason, I've been lucky and found the right person at the right time. And that's what's led to exponential growth. And some of that means giving up some of your money to somebody else. And that's what's going to lead to growth. Is we have the scarcity mindset of it. If I bring on a showing assistant and give them 25% all my deals, that means I only keep 75%, instead of seeing the compounding effect of you being able to double as many deals next year. So you get 75% of double your business, not 25% or less what you actually have, right? So it's all a mindset thing. But anyway, plan on, and this is our personal example, right? When I came to EXP, my best year, I did 30 deals as an individual agent. Within 3 years, we had surpassed 300 deals as a team. And I was thinking hey, I'd love to get to 500. I'm screw that. Let's go to 3,000, right? Let's 10X it one more time. I mean, that's the way we got to think it. What do we got to do that and focus on that? And Chris is helping do that in Oahu. So we can get 1,000 deals out of Oahu by itself. So here we come.
We're going to buy Oahu if that works out like that. Just kidding. All right. I love your world domination mentality, my friend. That's infectious. That's all what it's about. I love the 10X stuff too. And is that 10X? So the 10X is better than 2X, or 2X better than, is that like a Grant Cardone 10X segue?
No, it's super, Grant Cardone is kind of motivational and stuff, but this is super tactical on the things that you got to do to 10X your business. So the book is called 10X is easier than 2X. And the premise is it's easier to 10X your business than it is to 2X your business. And it's all the tactical kind of mindset stuff that you got to get past and the things that you got to do. So super, super highly recommend that book. Maybe it should be the book of the month next month.
I think it's going to be the book of the month. Just
Yep.
caught that right now. We're almost done. And by the way, Dan Sullivan, a great author who is reading the book right now, that I'm reading right now, The Gap in the Game. So another great book right there. And Bo, you're right. He also wrote The Who and the How.
And I think it's kind of like the pinnacle of all that stuff coming together, right? This is the latest one, and so it's all those previous ones. And then the audiobook, if you're the audiobooks, is cool because there's two writers. It's Dan Sullivan and I forget Darren Hart. I forget the other guy's name is, but
Grady.
At the end of every chapter, they podcast it. So like the guy reads the chapter and then they talk about it afterwards. So it's like additional content and thoughts from Dan, for firsthand.
I think it's the same one here. That is it, Dr. Benjamin Harding, the one that's co-authoring with him on The Gap in the Game. Yep. So yeah, it's a great read. Awesome too. I like that. That's the mindset piece, and the 10x over 2x is also part of their mindset piece. I love it. It's all how you look at things. Perspective is everything. Half glass, half full, right? Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. I think that's gonna be the book of the month next month. By the way, who has got the book for the month this month? Oh yeah. Shame on you guys. Telling you right now, you are robbing yourself of growth if you're not reading right now. Every time I say it, get a book, get a book, get a book. Not an apple, get a book. The books are so much better. They feed your mind. They expand, makes you blow. I'm telling you right now, you will see things so differently. So awesome. Thanks. Who else? Vanina, I know you got some good news, girl. You just keep being quiet over there in the corner. And then Kimberly, go for it. You two first, Kimberly, but Vanina, come on, don't be quiet. Go, Kimberly. Where you at?
So this is my last week working in the corporate world, and then I'm full-time real estate. So it's
What?
very exciting. We're gonna hit the ground running.
I love it. All right, awesome. Taking the shackles off, and you are officially.
I know. I've never been so liberated and stressed out at the same time.
It's kind of an odd feeling. Trust me.
It is.
You're a little perplexed at some point. You're like, yeah. And then at some
For
point,
sure.
you're like, wow, what did I do? I'm just kidding. You're gonna love this. Awesome. Well, congratulations for you
Thank
for now seeing you more often and plugging you in. So anything you need from us, absolutely let us know. We're here for you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Jessica, how are you? Go ahead, Justice.
Good morning, everybody. So I just realized today that I have 10 people in my FLQA or FLA. So it's 9. And then if I get one more, then I'll be a leader. And then it goes from 10 to 200. So I guess I have to wait for another 190 to go level up again on that. But I'm super, super excited. And I'm so grateful to Dylan, because if he didn't encourage me to go to build, I don't think I would be having all these people trying to join. And it's exciting to see a lot of lives change, especially a lot of young local girls and that has been stay-at-home moms for 3, 4, 5 years. Like, they're just killing it out here. So I'm so grateful to Dylan. Thank you so much. And grateful to Chris for finding Dylan and just how this whole thing works. And love you, Tara. You look so beautiful today.
Awesome. Congratulations, Justice. And here it goes. It starts. The momentum is kicking in. Trust me. Once you hit that, it starts to go.
And I want to add to that, right? Like, everybody wants to age in the track, but who puts in the work? Justice puts in the work. She's putting out content. She actually takes meetings with people. She spends time mentoring folks. Like, she's putting in the energy, and the results speak for themselves. So just huge. Just put, you kind of want, you got to do.
Absolutely, man. You want to play baseball, swing the bat. Don't sit on the bench. You can dress up in the outfit, show up to the stadium, but you got to get out on the plate. Swing, 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 batter, swing. Not every time's going to be a home run, but you definitely get a chance to get in there and get some first base hits, second base hits, and then you will hit a home run. Justice is awesome. And Dylan, great job on that. Is like the 10 getting 10, right? It's the 10 get 10. That's how it works. It's a great model. So congratulations, Justice. We're going to watch that go to 300 to 400 to 500. I promise you. It will grow. All right. Vanina and Cindy, who wants to go first?
Hi.
All right. Do it, Vanina. I've been waiting for this.
Okay, so
Vanilla,
yeah, August, what is that?
Yeah, you're crushing it. You're just all silently quiet over there. But you what did you do this last couple of weeks?
So August is a great month for agent attraction, and this was the best ever. So thank you, Chris, for helping with 3-way calls and following up. That is something that I needed. So two new agents that joined and got started, and there is actually a third one that you'll have. I will set up he's watching the videos as we speak. So, but he already made his mind, and I know he's coming. So it would be 3. So like Justice, I think I would be 1 short from qualifying for the leaders group mastermind. So I already made my request. I'm already pending because I know I'm going to get there. So by now I kind of doubled my goals by the end of the year. And if I listen to Dylan, maybe I should 10x by the end of the year and just work hard, keep working hard.
Keep doing it. I love it. That's so awesome, Benita. You're always the quiet one just sitting there, but you're a silent killer. Trust me. Don't do that mistaken, folks. Benita's here to play, and she's going to play good. So good job, Benita. I'm so excited for you. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Line them up. We'll knock these things down. I'm so excited for you. Awesome. All right, Cindy, got one more.
Yeah, I'm just super grateful. Sharon and I have been doing our Saturday calls and bouncing things off of each other, and she's given me some good tips. And I've been making my 10 calls a week and getting the 2 appointments. So it works if you do it. You just got to sit down and have that mindset. It really is a mindset, because I'll get thrown off, like the phone will ring and I got to go do something and then come back at noon and, oh man, am I into doing the calls right now? You got to totally focus on it. Yep. And it's just, sit down in my spot and get the names out and get ready and do it. And it's working. So I'm excited.
Oh, it totally works. Anything done consistently has been proven in life. It works. You will get results, good and bad, both ways, right? Bad habits, good habits, done consistently. You could equally as much just not make the calls, right? Like you said, come after the afternoon, you just say, nah, I don't feel like doing that. Then consistently do that over and over again. And you watch what happens with that result, right? So it goes both ways. Energy works for you and against you, 1,000%. But the kicker is just go out and do it, man. Stop making excuses and just go out and do it, or don't talk about it at all. I talked about that yesterday, man. Stop talking about it. I'm just being real. Stop talking about it. If you're not going to do it, just stop talking about it, because you're never going to do it. Just go do it. Stop talking, right? That's how it works in life. I love it.
I had 2 closings last week, and I have 2 more by the end of this week. So
let's do this. I love it.
Sales.
Taking it both sides, real estate and agent attraction. This is what it is. The full boat here. I love it. If you were playing poker, you'd win. I love it. All right. Good job, Cindy. I love your wins. All right. We are going to move on. We're about that time. I want to give our speaker the time allotted for today, because she's going to come in. Jen Davis is one of our very own here at EXP. She's on the Big Island. She is a coach, trainer, mentor, a motivational person, speaker, likes to influence people's lives, which I love that, Jen, because I'm all about personal growth and self-care. Fixing your mindset, which we talked about earlier. Can't get that fixed out between your 2 eardrums, you're really going to be in trouble. And this is going to be some things you're going to drop down for some knowledge for us. So, Jen, the stage is yours. I appreciate your time, and thank you so much for showing up and doing this.
Thank you, Chris. Good morning, everyone. I'm here in my garage, which is a sunny cafe, as you can clearly see. This is the way I like to show up, with sparkles on my face. Today, I'm going to be talking about one of my absolute favorite topics. It is a book by Don Miguel Ruiz called The 4 Agreements. Show of hands, anybody who've read The 4 Agreements before? Virtual hands, for real on camera hands? Okay, just a few of you. All right. One of my favorite topics, because some folks who have already read it go, oh yeah, it was fine, right? And I go, didn't it change your life? And they're like, no, yeah, it was fine. I get it. And I'm like, no. You didn't read it the right way. It is life changing if you're able to extract the principles and directly apply them to your lives. And that's one thing I attempt to do as a realization coach, is help you practically apply all of these theories that we have floating around, like what Dylan's talking about, Chris is talking about. Just really applying all of the principles from these books that you read to really, really level yourselves up. So I have a presentation here. I'm going to go ahead and go into full screen. And so I'm not going to be able to see hands raised or anything. Let's go ahead and hold questions until the end. I won't see the chat either. And then I love discussion if we have any questions or if anything comes up for you while I'm presenting. So I'm going to go ahead and go. Here we go.
Yeah, so people pop up their hands or something intermittently as to this process. I can always kind of say, hey, Jen, got a question.
Yeah, absolutely. Throw it in there, because I am looking at my full screen here. So this is what the book looks like. It's called The 4 Agreements. And the subtitle, which is my favorite thing ever, and I would like you all to breathe into this. It's a practical guide to personal freedom. Please sit with that for a minute. Personal freedom. Is that something that we all dream about and don't quite really know how to attain? Like, does it even actually exist? So what we're talking about here is simple, not easy, right? You actually have to apply what's going on in order to achieve this personal freedom that he's claiming here. And it's a practical guide. It's a roadmap. If you apply these visions, these techniques, it really will change your life. So the 4 agreements, it is based on ancient Toltec wisdom. It's a code of conduct, ultimately, that helps transform your life. It can help you experience freedom, happiness, love in all of everything in your life and business. And this amazing thing about real estate, right, is it is our life and it is our business, and it's vice versa. And we're answering phone calls at dinner, and right. So because it's all one and the same, whenever I say life, think also business. Whenever I say business, think also life, right? Because there are practical applications to all of it. So my agenda here today, we're going to cover each agreement in the book, and then I'm going to ask you to explore your own personal agreements. Don't worry, I'll tell you what an agreement is, so we're all working off of the same definition. And then I always love to issue a challenge. I think that that's a really great way for us to take what we've learned today and put it into application in our daily lives and business. And then if we have time for questions and discussion, I'm all about it. So who am I? My name is Jen Davis. I'm a speaker, coach, and consultant. I am a recovering realtor. I say that lovingly. I sell real estate. I used to full-time sell real estate. And if you've sold real estate, you know that you never really quite get out of it. So there's always that pullback to it. I am the co-founder of the EAS Abide Initiative. Anytime I have a platform, I will please remind you, donate blood. It literally saves lives. 1 blood donation could have the potential to save 3 actual lives, especially with what's going on over here in Maui in the islands. Please, please find your local donation center and donate blood. It makes you a superhuman, I promise. I have 2 boys, Grant and Max. I pour fluid art in my garage when my kids go to sleep, which is hardly ever. I'm a storyteller, and I think all of you are too. I think that we learn so much from telling stories that I hope we all get to share today. Philosopher just means that I am a lover of wisdom, and it's obvious that all of you are too for being here. And on occasion, more often than not, I am passionate, and those words go flying. So please excuse me if that happens today. So what is an agreement? This is what dictionary.com says. So we work real estate, right? And we know what an agreement is. It's when buyer and seller put their signatures on a piece of paper and agree to a thing, right? So ultimately, at the act of coming to mutual agreement. Or down at number 6 in law, it's the phraseology, written or oral, of an exchange of promises, which is ultimately the business that we are in. So how does this apply to you? This is what we're going to use as the agreement definition. At every point in the time of your existence, since you were born, you took and continue to take part in creating thoughts and ideas that you believe to be true. It does not mean it is the truth. It means that you believe it to be true. And this can happen actively or passively, consciously or subconsciously. And this participation, it creates the agreements that you are currently living with. And our reality, our business, our lives are formed one agreement at a time. So that's what we're working with. It's the stories that we've told ourselves over time that we agree to. They don't necessarily all serve us. We're going to talk about that shortly. So agreement number 1 in the book is be impeccable with your word. What does that mean? Well, speak with integrity. I hope that we're doing that. As realtors, we owe that to each other, to our colleagues, and to our clients. Say only what you mean. We say this to children all the time, right? Say what you mean. Use your words. Well, it's a little more difficult than it sounds, right? Because we have these definitions of words that we've made up over time that don't necessarily mean what we think it means. And so we're out there floating around using words that not everybody is having the same definition of. Being impeccable with your words also means to avoid using the word, to speak against yourself or gossip about others. Seems pretty straightforward. And use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. Okay, Jen, that's great. What the heck does that mean? What do we do with it in our real life? Well, we need to be aware of the things that we're telling ourselves and the things that we're saying out loud. Your brain and energy, this is studied. Energy is always listening, right? Where we focus, where our energy goes, it flows, right? The things we start focusing on comes back to us. What we need to be aware of is that our brain craves our own voice's guidance. Our brain wants to hear ourselves tell us what to do, how to think, what to feel, right? We sometimes get into the, oh, hey, how you doing? And that wasted breath kind of conversation that we have with somebody we run into at the coffee shop, right? The words that we choose when we're saying how we are, how we feel, what's going on with us, that matters. It's so much less for the other person than it is for you. You're listening, which leads me to number 2. You are what comes after I am. The 2 most powerful words in the English language put together, I am. You get to decide what that is. I am worthy. I am a top producer. I am extraordinary. I am fill in the blank. You get to decide. Who's listening? You are. It's so much less for the people out there, right? Then what happens with the I am? Then we act that way, right? We've all heard show up as though it already is. That's the way you show up as a 10X producer, right? You don't pretend you're a 10X producer. You show up that way. What are the habits? What are the procedures? What are the things that are going to make me be this? Because I am, right? Remember that help me remember is totally a different statement than don't let me forget, right? The universe energy does not hear negation, does not hear negation. So this don't let me forget, what is everything around us hearing? Forget, 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 forget. You've ever said out loud to your partner or somebody at work, hey, don't let me forget, da, 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 da. And then what's the very next thing you do? You forget, right? The exact same statement put out to energy in a positive direction is help me remember. Now what's in our minds? Remember, remember. Now this is just an example. I rearrange statements all the time for the positive. This is just an example of the difference in our language. We are talking to ourselves. Remember that. And funny story, I use dictionary.com regularly. My partner, my kid's dad, he's from Southern Mississippi. I'm from Southern California. We do not speak the same language. And I will tell you that there's been plenty of messes in our conversations where literally I had to download dictionary.com on my phone. And when he would say something, I would look up a word and I would say, are you working off of this definition? Because this is what I think it means. And more often than not, we would have to come to an agreement that we weren't having the same conversation. And although it slows things up, it does provide clarity when each person in an interaction is working off of the same information. So if you take one thing away, download dictionary.com and make sure everybody's using the correct words when you're having conversations with them. Real business application. So this was written for realtors in Hawaii. If you are not in Hawaii, this still applies. Right? Very often we have realtors running around saying, my buyer, my seller, my, right? Mine. Do we own these folks? And very often when we are claiming my, we take ownership. And it's great to take ownership of the situation, right? As the representative, it is not okay to get into like a pissing match with somebody because they're mine, right? Really, in actuality, the language that we need to be using in our business is it is the buyer, it is the seller, it is the client. Now, this comes especially in handy when things do get a little wonky in like a transaction and you need to email the other realtor, right? When we start going, my client, da, 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 right? It sounds really icky versus let's put it out there in a neutral situation and we're all cooperating to the end, right? It's the buyer, it's the seller. Get to versus have to. Oh gosh, these are so simple. I get to write a contract today. You heard Tara. I get to show property today. I get to help people change their lives, right? I found myself saying to my 4-year-old a few months back, oh, I have to go show property today. And I went, no. This career has given me an opportunity to spend time with my children. And I don't have to go do any of this. I'm choosing to, which means I get to, which means that I get to provide the life that we've come to understand. And that's really a pleasure. And so using words like that, where we get the pleasure to do our business versus, we don't have to clock into anything. You get to choose what we're doing here. Here in Hawaii, we often hear unpermitted or illegal. And I'm here to challenge that. I'm not sure how it works in other states. Very often in Hawaii, we have unpermitted living areas. Sometimes I'll hear buyers throw around, oh, that's illegal. And I'll have to say, I don't know that it's illegal. I am not an attorney, nor am I a police officer. What we do know, disclosure-wise, is that it's unpermitted. It is not for me to say that it is legal or illegal. And I don't want to give, what I want to do is I want to give the correct disclosure, right? If there's a concern about legality, we certainly need to look into that. That's not for us as realtors to say. And if our client wants to look into it, they're more than happy to do so if that's a concern. We have contract language, and every state has contract language. Here in Hawaii, our inspection period is called J1. It's the J section of our contract. And very often we throw that around to our clients. Oh, your J1 is up on Friday. And clients are sitting there going, what? What is J1? I don't know what that means. And we forget that they're not in the contracts every day. They don't have any idea what we're talking about. TIR, here in Hawaii, that's a termite inspection report. I've literally had a buyer ask me, what's a TIR? Right? And you're like, oh, my bad. The termite inspection report. We need to be impeccable with our language, especially with our clients and especially with our colleagues. Here again in Hawaii, we have HARPTA, FERPTA. That's a real property. It's not a tax, it's a withholding. However, the title says that it's a tax. We need to be impeccable with our clients and help them understand what that is. And any other contract lingo that exists in your state or whatever you might throw around with your colleagues and with your clients. Let's remember to be impeccable. Let's remember to make sure that we are explaining exactly what's happening, why, and how as it's happening. And then in negotiation, we very often use our own biases, right? Should, but. So if we're talking with a client and we go, well, the seller should do this. Whoa, let's be careful. We need to be able to present all options without our bias, because it is not our decision when we're representing a buyer or a seller, right? And very often we use but versus and. More often than not, the word and needs to exist in your sentence, because remember, we live in a both and world. A lot of things can exist all at the same time. And what but does is it negates the thing that you just said. If it holds value, use the word and. I think that it's all important to take into consideration. Agreement 2, don't take anything personally. This is so tough, especially as realtors. We like to think that we control the world, especially of our clients, right? In the book, it says nothing others do is because of you. That's a tough one to grasp, right? No, they did that to me on purpose. This is a tough one because we like to think that the world revolves around ourselves, which is fine. You know, a healthy little ego is okay. We need that in order to represent ourselves well. However, nothing others do is because of you. You may have knowledge, you may have influence, but ultimately what they're doing is based on their own set of reality. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality. Oh man, you can tell I've done this presentation before. When you are immune to the opinion and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. Do you know what this says? This says that we choose to suffer. We choose to suffer. When you are immune to the opinion and actions of others, you won't be the victim. None of us want to be victims. We want to show up as superheroes in our lives, right? When we don't take anything personally, it allows us to unwrap the things that give us distress. So how do we apply this in our real life? One of my favorite lines is get over yourself. Really, it's not about you. I know we want it to be about us. I know it really, really makes life easier in our own brains if we think it's about us. It's not. Get over yourself. Be mindful and curious of the thoughts and feelings that come up for you when in a not great interaction. And I say not great because whenever there's distress in an interaction, number one, that's the time that we start questioning these agreements, right? Whenever there's distress, that's an agreement being challenged. Remember our definition of agreement earlier? That's an agreement being challenged. And so we want to be mindful and curious of what's going on with us when that's happening, because we want to make sure that we're able to come together in that. Remember, we're not taking things personally. Are you each working off the same information and or definition? And this is real life. How many of us have been in an interaction with a parent, a child, a partner, and we're not even talking about the same thing? And then it gets elevated and we're fighting. And the next day when things cool off, it's like, oh, that's not even what I was talking about. Or, oh, I didn't know that. Happens all the time. It's easier to back off and say, what am I not aware of here? And remember that taking offense is a choice. You get to decide what you take offense at. You get to decide to be a victim or not. How does this work in our business? Again, get over yourself. The world, our clients' world, does not revolve around us. How often do we get told no on a listing, or no, I'm not ready to buy, or no, I don't want to use you? Oh man, maybe I'm not worthy. Maybe I'm not good enough as a realtor. Maybe I'm, It's not about you. It's about them. Also, bear in mind, no doesn't necessarily mean no. It might just mean not right now, right? It's not about you. Keep doing the work. Keep saying yes. Keep making those phone calls. Keep showing up. This business is a numbers game. You'll get there. And this is an old realtor test. What you owe the client is old car. It's an acronym. The decisions that are made by our clients after you've provided this acronym, don't worry, I'll get to what it is if you're not sure. It's not for you to attach to, right? We get so caught up in, I advised them well and they're not listening to me and da 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 da. It's not about you. They have to make the best decision for themselves. Your job is to give them all of the information. Their job is to make a decision. Then your job is to carry out that decision for them. It's not yours. In case you were worried, old car is obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, accountability, reasonable care and diligence. And if you think about it, this applies to the people in our lives as well, not just our business, right? Yes, we owe this to our clients. We might owe it to all the people we love too. Something to think about. Agreement 3, don't make assumptions. Y'all, this is so hard. It is so hard to not make assumptions because we think we're aware of everything that's going on in front of us. What this is it's courage. Find the courage to ask questions and express what you really want. Why does this take courage? Because we don't want to get shot down. Because we don't like the feeling of no. Because we don't like the idea that somebody wouldn't agree with what we want or what we feel we need. It takes courage to step up and express what you really want. And then if you can communicate with others as clearly as you can, you really do avoid misunderstanding, sadness, and drama. Now, this whole dictionary.com thing and the stop, are we working off of the same definition? That slows things down. It definitely does. However, what it speeds up is understanding and care and coming together and moving forward in a direction of truth and love, as the first agreement told us. So with just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. Remember, I said simple, not easy. It takes awareness to understand that we might be making an assumption about something. The way we learn if we're making an assumption is if we find distress, if we think that we're taking things personally. All of these agreements build on each other. So what does this mean in real life? Be curious. What's going on here? What am I feeling? What are they saying? Do I understand? Am I holding myself accountable? I swear, you guys, empathy will save the world if we could all just learn how to give it a little bit more. I don't understand what you're saying. I'm going to ask more questions. I'm not going to assume that I really have any idea how you woke up, if your coffee was hot enough, if your spouse left you last night, if your kids are being jerks this morning. I'm not going to assume. So I'm going to ask. I need to have the courage to do that. And number 3, we tell our kids all the time, use your words. Don't assume. Ask the questions. Am I to understand you feel this? Maybe you all have heard the idea of active listening, right? Repeating back what you're hearing just to maybe help them see that you're listening or allow the person in front of you to correct what's going on. Use your words. Try to understand. And then really practice patience. We're all on this individual and collaborative journey together. We're all going at a different pace. We all have different understandings. This is where that empathy is going to come into play. Practice patience. It will benefit you moving forward. And clarity is power. Clarity is power. The more clear any of you can be in real life and in business, the better off you're going to be. How does this apply in business? If you've seen me do this before, we know what this question is. What does privacy mean? If a client says, hey, I want a house that's private, our realtor brains go, oh, I know what private means. I know exactly what private means. I know exactly the property I'm going to show them because it's private. And this is a real story of me being a recovering realtor. I showed 17 properties to a buyer because I did not ask her what privacy meant. She said, I want privacy. And I thought I knew exactly what that meant. This was way back. 17 properties I showed. And finally, I just threw my hands up. I'm like, I don't even know what to do. I've shown you every possible private property. And what she meant was, I don't want to smell my neighbor's cooking. I never would have woken up on any given day and said, oh, somebody out in the world says privacy is I don't want to smell my neighbor's cooking, right? Had I asked, had I gone 1, 2, 3 more levels deep in that question without assuming, I wouldn't have wasted 17 property showings. We would have known exactly where to take this person, right? Real business. Importance of a buyer-seller consultation. I cannot tell you how necessary sitting and meeting with a buyer and or a seller is. We all go on listing appointments, right? That's how we get listings. How many of us actually take the time and sit with a buyer in a buyer consultation? This time saves us hours and hours in the future. And this is us not making an assumption about our buyers. Do we have a buyer checklist? Do we know what questions we're going to ask a buyer? Do we know what kind of clarity we need with our buyers? This is so important to take the time. Really, 1 hour of investment up front saves you so many hours on the back end working with your clients. And then number 3, ask for the business. Oh my gosh, how many of us run around town, show property, we don't have a buyer rep agreement signed, and then that buyer goes into an open house and they meet another realtor and we weren't there and we didn't ask to represent them and they just go ahead and do business with somebody else. We assumed because we had been communicating, we were emailing, we were texting, we were showing property, we assumed that that was going to be our client, but we didn't ask for the business. So important. Let's never assume that the person we're spending time on is going to be our client. We have to ask for the business. Never assume. Agreement 4, always do your best. This seems like it should be pretty easy, right? But your best is going to change, and your best is going to change from moment to moment. It's going to be different when you're healthy as opposed to sick. The point is, always do your best, because at the end of the day, when you lay down with yourself, if you know that you've done your best in any given situation based on the information that you had in front of you, you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. I am a former control freak. I will admit, maybe some of you can identify. What I used to do in life, I used to lay down and my brain would go, you should have done this and you should have done that. And maybe if you would have done all of these, all right. And your brain, and now there's no sleep, right? That happens way too much. If we are following these agreements and we're applying them in our regular lives, we will at the end of the day be able to avoid all of that self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. How do we do this in real life? Are we being honest with ourselves, right? It's easy for us to let ourselves down. Very often we'll allow other people to hold us accountable. And are we being honest with ourselves? Are we able to sit and go, I didn't do my best today. And then say, you know what? I'm going to try again tomorrow. The athlete mentality. Think about the outfielder that drops the fly ball, right? Do you think that if it's in the second inning, we were talking about baseball earlier, in the second inning, somebody drops a fly ball, do you think for the rest of the game, all the way through 9 innings, that outfielder is going to go back out in there and be like, oh man, I dropped that ball in the second inning? And no, that's going to take him out of the game. Same thing in real estate, right? You get told no, okay, let's reassess. Let's go back. Let's watch the tape. What happened? What can I make better? And I got to get out there and I got to move forward, right? Forget that dropped ball. Keep going. Show up for yourself. Be kind, right? Everybody makes mistakes. We're all in this human experience. Everybody makes mistakes. Perfection. Dylan says this all the time, right? Done is better than perfect. And I'm a former perfectionist, right? Be kind to yourself. Learn. Say yes, learn. Every day we wake up is another opportunity to practice our skills. Every day in life, right? And these agreements that we're talking about, these are skills. These are life skills that have the ability to transform our lives if we allow them, if we're aware of them. Just wake up and try again. That's what we're talking about. How does this apply in business? Show up to things like this. Chris gives amazing information regularly, right? The entire week's schedule is full up. You can go to scripts practice. You can learn about EXP. You can learn about what needs to happen. The training exists everywhere, right? On Dylan's team that I'm a part of, the training exists everywhere. You have to choose to fail if you're on this team, right? If you're on Team Freedom, if you're on the agency, Team Hawaii, you are choosing to fail if you're not doing well. It's a choice, right? Set the expectation. Always do your best. Show up, set the expectation, learn the scripts, take the training classes. And of course, again, every day we wake up is another opportunity to practice our skills. Doctors have a medical practice. Lawyers have a law practice. Realtors have a real estate practice, right? All of this is practice. Every day we wake up, we get to try again. And that's really an amazing and beautiful thing. So when the sun comes up, sweet, get to try again. So that's the end of the agreements. Now what I'd like to ask you all to explore are, what are some of your own personal agreements? What does that mean, Jen? Well, I'm going to give you a couple of examples and maybe you can apply them or think about something that you've created that may or may not be correct. So I have worked with somebody and they love drawing. They love art and they light up when they talk about doing, their drawings. And I said, well, why don't you do that more? If it makes you so happy, why don't you do it more? Oh, I'm not good at it. Okay, well, says who? Oh, well, if you go 7 layers deep, way back when they were 7, Dad threw away a drawing from school and they made this agreement with themselves that they were terrible artists. This was a subconscious, passive agreement that they made. Think about a child learning to play the piano and they're banging on it and somebody yells from the other room, quit that noise, stop it, that's awful, right? Agreement made. Nobody even knew that was happening. We do that so often. We create our own stories. I used to have a silly agreement. This is like so dumb. I grew up making chocolate chip cookies and we like walnuts in our cookies at our house. Well, my partner, my kid's dad, loves pecans. He said, hey, would you put pecans in the chocolate chip cookies instead of walnuts? And can I tell you that I took 40 years of offense to that? Like, no, we put walnuts in our cookies, right? And it's dumb, but you see the differential of what kind of agreements we make along the way. I used to think I could only meditate in the morning because if I did it in the afternoon, it was a lost day. Silly agreement, right? We do this to ourselves. So what are some of your own personal agreements? And then the question is, do they serve you? What do I mean by that? Well, I mean, we made an agreement when we were young. Hopefully your parents said, hey, look both ways before you cross the street. We made that agreement. Do we do that now as adults? Yeah. Is that a good agreement to keep? I'm thinking so, right? Do we tell our kids? Yeah, that's something that serves us. That's an agreement. We made that. What about don't touch the hot stove, right? We probably all touched the hot stove and went, oh, don't do that. Okay, that's an agreement, filed away. Good one, that serves me, right? So some agreements don't serve us. That's when we are feeling distress in our lives, in interactions with folks and things that are happening. When we feel distress, an agreement is being challenged. And this is our opportunity to say, does this serve me? Do I need to create a new agreement to replace this one? If this agreement's not serving me, it might be time to make a new one. Now, if it is serving you, great. Acknowledge it. This is a good agreement. I'm going to keep this one. It does serve me, and move forward, right? We like to take inventory of the stories that we tell ourselves because some of these agreements we're not even aware of. We created so long ago. It's just this thing we believe, and we haven't questioned it. So that's my question to you. What are some of your own agreements, and do they serve you? Do we need to replace them, or do we need to keep them? Another thing about these agreements is that when you change your language, you literally change your life, right? Agreement number 1 was be impeccable with your words. And we know that our brains are listening. So I like to point out these words, and there's many more, but should, would, could. These are very judgy words, right? Oh, I should work out today. Okay, well, says who? Do you want to? Right? Would. Well, I would do this. Well, I promise you, and life shows us that we really don't know what we would do in a situation until the situation presents itself. And maybe some of you can recall a time where you thought something would happen and it didn't. And then we had to rearrange the agreements that we were working with then, or could. So all of these, the should, shoulda, woulda, coulda, those are all very judgy words, right? If we can eliminate these words and start owning what it is that we want in life, our lives change. You heard me reference the but versus and. So often, right? I love pink and I love yellow. I love sushi and I love pizza, right? I am grieving and I am smiling. It exists in a realm of so much happening all at the same time, right? We've heard this one. I love you, but I don't want to be with you, or I can't be with you, or all of these other things. First, if you love but, maybe you're lying to yourself or to the other person. And if it's true, I love you, and you can love somebody and still not want them in your world. That exists. So let's start owning our language, right? And then this beautiful thing happened in society as our consciousness was raising. We decided, or people told us, that our feelings matter. And they do. Your feelings do matter. However, the statement turned into this. Well, I feel like you should, right? Ugh, oh my gosh, I start twitching when I hear that. Let's take assessment of our feelings versus our thoughts, right? Our feelings are happy, sad, angry. Those are feelings, right? Very often we say, I feel like, and that's supposed to mean something, when in actuality, it's a thought. And cognitive behavioral therapy says that we think before we feel. Our thoughts give us our feelings. It's not the other way around. And you can Google this. It's not I feel like, it's I think. And from our thoughts, our feelings arise. From our feelings, our actions are created. And then from our actions, our thoughts are either recreated, are believed, are set in stone, or they change. Oh, outcome is different than I thought. Now I have a new thought, right? Now I feel a different way. This is how change happens in your life. Let's be impeccable with our words there. And so here's my challenge to you all. And if you choose to take me up on it, please reach out to me and let me know how it went for you. I want you to own your language. I want you to own what it is that you have going on, creating in front of you. Stop using the word should for one day. One day. Try to create the awareness that should does not exist in your vocabulary for one day. What do I do instead? I rearrange the statement. What does this do? It takes courage. Who has the courage? Change the thought. Instead of you should, it's I'd like or I want. It looks like I have time for a quick story. I was working with a client and she would come to me, and this is not a real estate client, it's a coaching client. She said, I get in a fight with my husband every day because he throws his keys on the counter and I tell him he should put them in the basket by the door. Oh, he should? Yeah, we get in a fight every single day. Does that need to change? Well, I tell him he should put them in the basket because that's what it's there for. And I said, okay, well, why should he? Well, because that's what it's there for. Okay, is that important to you? Obviously, Jen, it's important to me. Okay, can you tell him that? What do you mean? Can you say, hey, husband, I put this thing by the door and it would really clear my mind if you could use that so I don't keep finding your keys. Like, it really helps my brain. I would like you to use this. Okay, I kid you not, the very next day, hey, Jen, it worked. Right? Because now we're not judging. We're exclaiming what it is that we want, we'd like, we need from the people that we are choosing to have these interactions with. You can do it in real estate. You can do it in your real life. I'm interested in how it works for you. And then I'll finish up with this. This is the 95-5 rule. About 95% of the problems, symptoms, issues, and challenges can be effectively addressed by making significant changes to only 5% of the processes, the people, or the technology. We think that to make massive change, take massive action in our life, we have to change everything. That is not true. We have to change about 5% of what is happening in our lives to make significant changes. Hire a coach, get a mentor, get anything that you need help. What I can do is I can help you with the processes and the people. That would be you, right? Taking ownership. Technology, I'll leave to Dylan and Chris and all of that. Only 5% needs to be changed in your life if you see that changes need to be made. It's not this whole big drastic thing. It's a half a click in a different direction. So we might have time. Chris, let me know if we have any questions, if we have any clarity, and I'm happy to talk about it.
Yeah, we got about actually 2 minutes to honor the hour. So if everybody's got like a quick, thank you, by the way, Jen, this was amazing. I'm a huge Don Miguel Ruiz fan. The Four Agreements is a book I read religiously. At least once or twice a year, every year. So it's a go back to book because I realize how many times I got to go back to the Four Agreements and re-identify some things that I know I'm not doing. So it's impactful. Anybody got some thoughts about this real quick? You want to chime in real quick and give Jen some thoughts or ideas or ahas, anything?
I'll say it was Jen. I just wanted to say that was just so great. There were so many great little key takeaways everybody can use, just little tiny tweaks that they can do with their business and make them greater tomorrow. And I think to everybody, it's just, that's what it comes down to. When you hear somebody awesome like Jen, just taking those little things that will make a difference in your everyday life. And then I've read that book many times myself too. And it's unbelievable. You get just the little tweaks in your mind. Yeah. You feel because you think, because you choose. And it's so good. I really appreciated that. So anyway, I just want to say thank you, Jen.
Thank you, Sharon.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Justice, go for it.
Hey, Jen, I wanted to say thank you so much. I was convicted this entire 30 minutes because I look at myself as like someone who's really positive, and I didn't realize I'm positive towards everyone else but myself. And so I'm looking really forward to changing that and not being so hard on myself. So I'm taking the rest of the day off because I could, would, and should. Nah, I'm just kidding. No, but I'm going to be more to myself. And I write in a prayer journal every night. And for this next week, I'm going to dedicate it to the I ams. And every night I'm going to just make a long list of what I am. And it's because of you. So thank you so much for coming on today. I had a fun time learning from you today.
Thank you, Justice, and congratulations.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, the I am theory works well. I do that in my meditation every morning. It's an I am. I go on a series of things that I am this, I am that, right? So it's great. You're speaking to yourself. You're keeping your words impeccable, which is keeping you honest and keeps you wholesome moving forward. Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to honor the hour. Jen, again, thank you so much. It was awesome. I mean, I was immersive the whole time too. I've read that book a million times, but I just like, oh, I want to hear some of the stuff. It was great. Thank you for sharing that. And for those who want to reach out to her, feel free. She's obviously on the team, and you have her number. All right, everybody. I love you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thursdays, EXP Explained. Friday, Tech Talk with the man, the myth, the legend, Eric Madison. So we hope to see you guys the rest of this week. If not, go crush it. And I will see you all next week. Love you guys. Have a good one.